Well, hello there, Frankston Toastmasters and potential guests for our upcoming Zoom meetings. Now, as we know, the world at the moment is pretty hectic, and for this reason, we've actually had to move our meetings from our regular spot, which is in Frankston obviously, to online, which is with Zoom. And we've chosen Zoom because of the many functions that you can use with it. Now, if you are already a bit of a pro with Zoom, that's great. But we still recommend you watch this video because there are some settings that we'd like you to get set up that will help us to help you when it comes to signing into Zoom. So that way, if there's any troubleshooting or anything along those lines, it'll just make the flow of the meeting a lot better from the moment you sign in. So it's important you watch this video, obviously, before you go onto the meeting. Now, the first thing you will need to do is to actually download Zoom if you haven't yet done so. Now, you can do that by going into applications if you're using an iPad or an iPhone or any other kind of tablet, and you can download Zoom from the applications there. Or if you're using a Mac or a computer or a laptop or a desktop or something along those lines, what you can do is just go to Google Chrome or whatever your browser is and type in Zoom download, and it'll take you to the Zoom download center and simply click on it, take you there, and you can click on the download and then install it into your computer. It's really, really simple. From there, we now need to have a look at getting the settings right, because that's going to be the thing that really helps to make this meeting run smoothly, so that way we're not wasting time and chewing up into everyone's precious time where we're actually running the meeting. We can get on then with obviously what we're all there to do, which is to practice our public speaking. So to do that, we're going to open up the Zoom app. Now you'll find the Zoom app, it looks a little bit like this. I'll click on it, and you'll get into a screen that looks like what you can see up on my screen now. Now this is the important part. Like I said, regardless of whether you use Zoom a lot or not, what we would like you to do is to set these settings that I'm about to show you, because this will help us with troubleshooting and to make the flow of the meeting run a whole lot easier for everyone. So to do that, you're going to come up here to the settings button. And then what we're going to do is we'll just change the video, the audio, and the screen sharing settings. We'll start off with the video. The video one is really, really easy. What we'd like you to do is simply to come down here to the display up to 49 participants per screen in gallery view. Now, the reason we want to do this is because we don't know how many people we're going to get to our first Zoom meeting. The amazing thing with what it is this actually allows us to really be able to invite people from all across the world, which we haven't been able to do before. So we might have people from Colombia, which, Simon's wife is from there. He's been over there before. So maybe we can have some people from Colombia joining in our meeting. Who knows? This is what excites me about it. So if you do this, it allows us to see all the people that join, and it's going to help especially with the business session of the meeting. All right, the next thing that we're going to get you to ask you to do is to go to the audio, and what we'd like you to do in terms of these settings is to make sure you have mute microphone when joining a meeting, and press and hold space key to temporarily unmute yourself. The reason why we want you to have mute microphone when joining a meeting is because when people do join the meeting, and we do recommend you join it at about 7:15, when people do join this meeting, we don't want to have people talking over the top of everyone when we're trying to do some troubleshooting. So it's really going to make the flow of things go a whole lot easier. So please make sure you have this selected. And then the other thing that we'd like you to do is click on this one too. So that way, if we do ask you a question, you don't have to go and look for the button to be able to unmute yourself. All you need to do is hold down space. You can answer the question, let go of spacebar, and then you'll mute yourself again. When it comes time to you doing any speeches or anything like that, we'll just unmute you for you. So you actually don't even need to do any of the hard work. We'll do all of that, and you don't need to worry. All right, so the Toastmaster of the evening will be in charge of that. The last thing that we'd like you to do is come to the screen share and click on this side-by-side mode. What this is going to do is actually allow you to be able to watch the person who's speaking, but also see the timing lights as well. And this is obviously important for keeping track of time and all those things. So if you have all of those settings selected, we're going to be doing well. It's going to save us a whole lot of time and troubleshooting at the very beginning of each meeting. Also, these settings don't change. So once you've done it, you don't even need to worry about doing it again. All right, there we go. That is the settings that we need to have sorted out. We'll get out of that menu and we'll come back to here. Now, what are we going to do? Well, how are we going to join this meeting? Well, that's really easy. All you need to do is go to Join, and you'll see that it comes up with a blank spot here. Now, I've already trialed this, so what you need to do for every Frankston Toastmasters meeting is simply put in this link. Now, this link will become available or will start to work anytime from about 7:10 to 7:15 onwards. because I'll make sure that I'm logged in for then, so you can just log in at that time and be part of the group. So when you do join, just put in that exact number, and it's going to be the same number every single time. Go join, and it will take you to the actual meeting that we're about to have. There we go. We are now actually connected to what you will see when you first sign up. You might actually see also some other people's faces, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. But this is what you'll see often when you do sign in for the first time. Now, if you only see this, it might be because you're the very first person in the meeting. If that's the case, you can also go start video, and that'll actually then take you to this screen where it's a bit of a split screen here. If you're not the first person in the meeting, then you'll probably just see this straight away, along with everyone else's faces that have already joined the meeting coming up here. Now, we don't want to see the timing lights as being the main feature. So what you will want to do is come over to here and click on this. So you can see these little two white lines here. You're going to just get this and drag it across to make the person speaking, or the people in the meeting, they're going to be the main part. And then you can see here that the timing lights are going to be this here. Because that will then allow me to go through as a timekeeper or the sergeant at arms. And I'll give people access, if you are a timekeeper, to be able to control this from your own computer screen. But you'll be able to then go through, and we'll have the timing lights there, and then you can watch the person speaking on this side. So now there are a few other things to think about when you do log on. I've already mentioned it's important to make sure that your microphone is muted before you do log on. And like I said, this is just to help us to just navigate any troubleshooting that we need to do, and we can do that one at a time rather than having everyone bombard us with questions. The next thing is, I will, as the Sergeant at Arms, just check in with every single person as you do log on, and I'll ask you a question just to check your audio. So I might say, hey Jack, can you just test your audio for us? You'll then hold down spacebar, have a bit of a chat, and then let go of spacebar, and we'll just see how it all goes. If there are any issues, I'll talk you through that as well. Another thing that you can do is, if you want to talk to people or if you want to ask any questions, you can do so via the messenger or the chat system. And to do that, you just come down to the bottom here and you click on chat. What that allows you to do is to have conversations with anyone, or to ask me a question if you're struggling with anything at all, and I can respond via that, or other people can respond via that and help with the troubleshooting, but whilst freeing me up to do any other troubleshooting with people one-on-one via the audio and video route. Alright, you can also choose specific people that you want to talk to. So rather than sending something to everyone, you can simply go the person that you want to send it to and select them and start typing away. This is also a really good opportunity for you to actually send through any kind of evaluation forms or anything like that at the beginning of the meeting by simply clicking on file and then uploading your file that you need to send, or your evaluation form, and sending that off to your evaluator for the night. And I recommend doing this in the 15 minutes prior or via an email before the meeting, so that way we're not stuffing around too much as the meeting is going. We do ask though, as people are speaking throughout the night, please hold off from actually doing any kind of chat, because it is quite distracting for people speaking, and the last thing we want to do is be throwing people off, especially when it is such a new kind of situation that people probably aren't used to. And you know, we wouldn't talk in a meeting over the top of people, so let's avoid chat when people are actually speaking. The other thing to know about in terms of audio is there will be two people that have control over the audio settings, and those really will be the Sergeant at Arms, which is most likely going to be me, and also the Toastmaster of the evening. And as soon as the Toastmaster of the evening comes on, I'm actually going to put them as the host. So that means that they can then control who's going to be able to speak and when, and they can mute and unmute you. So the Toastmaster of the evening really does have a very important role in this online Zoom format. The last couple of things I need to tell you about is how to just turn your camera on and off or unmute yourself. Like I said, you can press space to unmute yourself and hold that down and then let go when you want to go back on mute. Or if you want to unmute yourself permanently, you can simply come down to here. But once again, only really do that if you're asked to do it, or if you feel like there's something really important that you need to say. But try not to interrupt other people, because it's really hard when people talk over the top of each other. You can turn your video as well on or off. This is really a personal choice, whatever you want. If you feel like you're going to be going in and out of the room for whatever reason, you know, it's probably best to have the computer off, because if someone is speaking and you're moving around the room, it's quite distracting for the speaker too. So if you do though think that you're going to be sitting down and like you would at a normal meeting, then turn your computer on, turn your camera on, so that way people can see you enjoying what they're actually saying. So that's a pretty straightforward one, and so you can turn it on and off by simply clicking on this here. That's off, that's on. It's as simple as that. The last thing to think about is this part here. The gallery view, by coming up to the top, allows us to see every single person who is in the meeting at that point in time. So that's up to 49 people. So if I click on the gallery view, that allows us to see everyone that's there. Now this is really good for the beginning of the meeting, just to see who's online. It's also really good for supper because, you know, you might want to have a bit of a chat with people. You can have a bit of a chat as a group. And it's also really good for the business session. But any other time, it's probably not all that worthwhile. So what I would do, if I were you guys, is I would actually click on this and I would go down to Speaker View. So you can either click Gallery View or Speaker View, and it's the one or the other. So if you're in Gallery View, you click Speaker View, and what that will do is just bring up who is speaking, whoever is automatically speaking, up on the screen, which you can see here. Alright team, well thank you so much for spending the time to just watch this video so that when we do log in for the first time, it's going to just make everything that little bit easier and to help us with the troubleshooting. So we really do appreciate that. No doubt it's going to be like any other kind of learning curve. It'll be steep, but please just be patient with us. And you know, if you can help people out, remember, use the messenger thing so that way you can actually help people out too. Alright, we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night and to seeing how this is going to go. All the best.